Coming up on today's show, Saudi Aramco partners Nigeria's government to boost oil and gas infrastructure development. The Nigerian farmer boosts yields using nutrient mist instead of soil. And BMW plans to buy cobalt directly from Australia and Morocco for electric vehicle batteries. Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated. I am BC at Dubai. We'll begin with numbers coming from major markets in Africa, which were mixed at intraday. The DSA index was down 0.51%, while the NSE was down 0.14% at about midday. And while the EGX30 in Egypt was up 0.79%, and Kenya closed in the green on Tuesday. And in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's stock market inched higher today thanks to first quarter results, while major Gulf markets were mixed in subdued trading. Saudi's index was up 0.16%, while Qatar's blue chip index added 0.73%, aided by its financial stocks. The Abu Dhabi index edged down 0.18%, led by a 0.6% fall in its largest lender, First Abu Dhabi Bank. Dubai's index was down 0.30%. And European stocks were mixed earlier today as market participants monitored the latest flurry of corporate results. Well, let's talk to Conrad Bulsin at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange for more on the European scene. It's good to see you, Conrad.
Good to see you too, BC. Thanks for having me back on Channels TV.
Very well. So the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 indexes reached record highs on Tuesday, as well as the Swiss Market Index, which is, of course, the leading index for the stock market in Switzerland. What are other European markets doing today?
Well, as you can see right behind me, it took our German index, the DAX, quite a few hours this morning to finally decide for the upside. And I have to say, this increase of the DAX is not really, backed by positive sentiment in terms of the economy. We've been getting more indications that business sentiment here in Germany continues to be very cautious, very subdued. The IFO Institute, as we call it in German, or IFO in English, came out with its latest business sentiment index, and the institute says that engineering companies, automakers, chemical companies, all of the German manufacturers continue to be very nervous, very uncertain. It also hasn't helped that, Brexit has been delayed. That makes people in businesses, especially when it comes to producers of capital-intensive goods, continuously nervous. And of course, the clients of those companies. The result of all this is that the IFO index of business climate has fallen to 99.2 points. And that's the lowest level in around about 3 years. So the overall mood for the market here is much less overwhelming compared to Switzerland. You named Switzerland, and also compared to a couple of the bourses in the United States.
Now let's talk about Japan's Softbank partnership with Wirecard, the large financial tech firm which recently came into trouble because of alleged irregularities in the balance sheet. How much of a liberation is this partnership for Wirecard?
It's a huge liberation. The share price of Wirecard is up more than 10%. One of the big drivers for the German DAX today. Obviously, market participants believe that this large investment by SoftBank in Wirecard will put an end to short selling strategies against Wirecard. Remember, up until the Easter holidays, there had been a ban on short selling in place put on the Wirecard shares by the German financial authorities. They said no short selling strategies were allowed. And of course, this ban had to do with the fact that strategies like those short selling strategies had put enormous pressure on the share price of Wirecard because of those allegations of falsified revenues. Now, of course, this large investment by SoftBank is a huge sign of confidence for the German company. Remember, SoftBank is a huge investor in tech firms, Uber, Yahoo Japan, Slack. These are only 3 names of companies that SoftBank is investing in. Now, adding Wirecard to this portfolio is really a sign of confidence, a bit of a knighthood, one could say, for Wirecard.
Right, Conrad. Now, the earnings season has been going well so far, especially for U.S. companies which managed to report better than expected results. What European reports are worth mentioning today?
Well, it's worth mentioning SAP, our German software firm here, which really managed to beat expectations. The margin, profit margins has been increased much more than what analysts had forecast. Also, SAP says it's considering a share buyback, and also SAP has a new shareholder, the hedge fund Elliott, which is an activist investor known to put a lot of pressure on executives of companies that Elliott invests in. In this case, the things that Elliott has to say about SAP sound very, very positive and optimistic, and all this is pushing the share price up a bit more than 10%. We also had positive earnings today from the truck maker Volvo from Sweden, also from the Swiss pharma company Novartis, also Primark and Boohoo, the two fashion retailers from the UK, beating analysts' expectations. And just 20 minutes ago, Boeing came out with its quarterly earnings. Remember, you know the problems with this with this plane, the 737 MAX. It has, of course, had a negative impact on profit margins, but the numbers were better than expected. Also, Boeing shares are up today.
Well, thanks, Conrad, for this update. See you next time.